Spider-Man No Way Home. Literally the most anticipated movie of this year being 2021. And I gotta say, man, this movie was overhyped. 100%. 10 out of 10, bro. 10 out of 10 over being overhyped. This film, if you really look at it, minus the nostalgia aside, and oh yeah, and trust me, we're gonna get into spoilers. We're definitely gonna get into spoilers, but let's all put the nostalgia behind us. Let's pretend Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and all the other beloved villains that we've known and loved for many years now weren't in the film. Would this movie be even half as good as it is? Which is not, by the way, it's not good. But the decent moments that they have were catered towards nostalgia, being the villains that we've seen in prior Spider-Man movies, as well as, yes, both Tobey and Andrew Garfield's version of Spider-Man is in the film. They tried to, pull this whole switcheroo thing as if they weren't going to be in the film. But yeah, they actually are, which is the cool thing about this film. Again, nostalgia based. Now, before we even dive into why this movie sucks and why it's complete overrated, we have to dive into the plot first. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So as always, grab a snack, get you a drink if you're of age, because we're going to be here for a while. So the way this movie starts off is exactly where it left off in the previous film, being Far From Home, when Mysterio reveals Peter's identity to the entire world on the news. And basically, he's just now seeing this on the TV spot. And the New Yorkers aren't happy about it because obviously Mysterio lied and said that he was the cause of the whole entire thing, which he wasn't. But, the New Yorkers don't give a damn. So they start, chasing him. They start pushing him. And they saw that MJ is there too. So they started, they tried to like press her. So he had to pretty much swing in, save her from the whole press and whatnot. And they're basically on the run for a good like 15 minutes of the film. Until he shows up to his house, even though he's literally being chased by the cops as if they don't know his identity that was just leaked 15 minutes ago. And of course, the cops pull up and stuff like that. And it, oh my God, just that scene alone just goes to show you how stupid Peter is in this franchise. Like, why the hell would you go back to your place? The cops know who you are, bro. Anyway, so after that fiasco, Happy figures out a lawyer to help Peter. And surprise, surprise, the lawyer is no other than the infamous Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, which basically tells Peter, like, hey, they got nothing against you, bro. Like, you're pretty much good. So then Peter, MJ, and Ned go back to school with even more heat from the press, and you have a whole bunch of people with protests and signs. Basically, he's popular for all the wrong reasons right now. And that starts to affect his friends as well, because not only are they pretty much ostracized from the school, but they also can't get into the select college that they're applying for. And Peter finds this out and he's like, yeah, I gotta go to Doctor Strange for this. Yeah, so let me repeat that. He went to Doctor Strange to brainwash the entire planet that he's not Spider-Man, simply because his friends didn't go to the college that they wanted to go. Yeah, so he put the whole multiverse in danger, as well as two other Spider-Men and their respective villains in danger, all because he wanted to go to college with his friends. Are you sensing why this movie is garbage? Because hopefully you are. And the part that kills me is, it's like, okay, let's say theoretically he did want to just have people forget that he's Spider-Man. That's cool. He could even manage that, bro. He screwed up Doctor Strange's spell about 5 or 6 times, destroying the whole multiverse, putting so many lives in immediate danger, all because of his selfish reasons. You see why Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man is literally the worst version of them all? Is because he lacks responsibility. He has zero, absolutely zilch, okay? And he has been in so many tragic moments and events regarding the Avengers and even Tony Stark's death, and he still has yet to learn not a single damn thing about responsibility. You would think being an Avenger would teach you this, but clearly not. But yeah, so he screws up Doctor Strange's spell, which pretty much destroys the multiverse. And, we see Doc Ock pop up for the first time. and he gets absolutely swept by him. And honestly, the whole movie, I was just rooting for the villains to just sweep Tom Holland the whole damn film, honestly, because he is so annoying. Even Doctor Strange just couldn't stand this kid, bro. I wouldn't either, because he's such an idiot. But anyways, so he fights Doctor Octopus, gets absolutely destroyed. And basically Doctor Octopus takes some of the nanotechnology from his suit, and that pretty much goes on his tentacles, and Peter can control that. Like, he just figured it out last minute after he was getting absolutely destroyed by him. So he inevitably catches him by using his own tentacles, because they pretty much have the whole nanotechnology from the Iron Spider suit. And yeah, he basically takes him back to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange basically tells him that, hey, we got to track down each and every one of these guys or whatever, and send them back to the multiverse. So the next one on their list is Electro, which, obviously this man could not even do anything to stop Electro. In fact, we needed the assistance of Sandman to capture this guy. So both Sandman and Electro were captured. The Lizard was already captured by Doctor Strange. I guess like he just saw him roaming the streets somewhere in New York City. I don't know. But yeah, so we have a good sum of villains that are already captured, and we get to Norman Osborn, and he pretty much goes to Aunt May for, like, looking for help. He's basically kind of half Osborn, half Green Goblin, and the Osborn half of him is like seeking help for him to get fixed and stuff like that, because he's afraid of himself, essentially, like basically kind of like the films of Tobey Maguire. And Aunt May is heckling Peter into pretty much saving them instead of leaving them to go back to their worlds or whatever. And he's just like, listen, man, this is my fault. I'm just gonna send them back to the worlds. That's the best thing I can do for them. And Aunt May is not having it. It's like, no, you need to help them more, this and that. And then so when he goes back to Doctor Strange's lair, it's basically revealed that, hey, they die when they encounter Spider-Man. So he's like, wait a minute, have a heart, Strange. We can't send them back if they're gonna die fighting Spider-Man, this and that. And he basically steals the cube that Doctor Strange was using, and they have a whole fight sequence and stuff. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? Not only is this all your fault, but you're fighting Doctor Strange over something that you caused. It makes no sense. Again, he has no responsibility. This whole entire film, this dude is a menace. All right, J. Jonah Jameson is correct. In this specific Spider-Man version, this specific Spider-Man is a menace. No, like, for real. He's put so many lives in danger for his reckless actions for no reason. Literally, bro. So anyway, he basically traps Doctor Strange in the Grand Canyon, and just basically just skirts off and like, hey, let's try and save these guys or whatever. So he tries to come up with solutions to their problems and how to nullify their powers when they go back to their own worlds. They won't have to worry about being killed by Spider-Man. And then once it's Green Goblin's turn to get cured, he's like, did you really think I would let you do that? Like, take away my power? What is wrong with you? So he basically goes ape, and he brings up an interesting point where it's like, wait a minute, why do we have to be cured? These aren't curses, these are gifts. And why do we have to be cured when you have your powers? So automatically the villains is like, wait a minute, this dude is right. So, they basically all turn on Peter for the most part, except Otto Octavius, which pretty much like is an ally for the whole film. So more like Sinister 5 to me. And so him and Green Goblin are basically fighting, and ultimately ends up in Aunt May's death. And she says the famous line, with great power comes great responsibility, which means absolutely nothing coming from her, because granted that she was the one egging Peter on to be Spider-Man, and was so encapsulated in the whole limelight and clout of being the parent of Spider-Man. Doesn't really seem like she knew anything about responsibility to me, but it is what it is. And so yeah, they try and treat Aunt May as his Uncle Ben, I guess, but it won't work, because he still won't even know what responsibility is, because towards the end he tries to kill Green Goblin, as if that's gonna solve anything, until Toby saves him from doing that. Which, by the way, I haven't even talked about how they introduced the characters. So basically, Ned is worried for Peter because he's doing his own thing and he hasn't come back at a specific time. So they're wondering if he's even alive or not. And during this time, Peter stole the Doctor Strange's ring and he gave it to Ned. And Ned figures out that he can summon Doctor Strange's portals to a different dimension. And he starts to attempt to get Peter back, but he ends up just, bringing the two Peters from different worlds and stuff like that. And that's how they get entered into the fray. We get, a lot of cool scenes between the three Spider-Man and, a couple of jokes, couple of memes. Like, like I said, everything good about this film comes from nostalgia and just the fact that there's three Spider-Mans in one film. That's literally it. That's the whole gimmick behind this entire film. Everything else from a plot standpoint, it's just bad, bro. It's bad. And it doesn't even matter that his Aunt May died because he's still not going to have great responsibility. You want to know why? It's because MJ's still alive. So basically towards the end, and I'm skipping because, bro, there's just this plot is trash. Basically, when everybody saves the day, all three Spider-Man save the day, blah, blah, this and that. Peter from this world makes it so that the whole world does not know that he's Peter Parker, including all his friends and Mary Jane Watson or whatever her name is. I don't know. But MJ forgets him. And so, they have this weird moment where it's like, oh, I don't want to forget you about this and that. So, that happens and we go to pretty much the end of the movie and he meets up with MJ and obviously surprise, doesn't know him at all. And he's trying to, I guess, make her remember who he is or whatever. And that's basically how the movie ends. And I'm not even going to talk about the end credits, but yeah, the film is very inconsistent, has a lot of really stupid plots, and Peter is still an idiot. And this is his third film, and he's still dumb. So this is a problem, clearly. But let me comment what you think about this, because this review was way too long. I spent way too much time on the plot, but you get the point, okay? It's a cash grab for nostalgia fans. It is solely dependent on the fandom. So you see characters like, oh, that's Doc Ock from the Raimi series. Or, oh, hey, that's Electro from, Andrew Garfield's version. It's just that's all it is. It's just just for the fandom to geek out about. But if you're talking about the film, it was underwhelming and very, very boring. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. 2 and 2 and I'm out. Peace.